All right, we'll call the February 23rd, 2023 board meeting to order. I'd like to welcome, we have a nice crowd in our room and we look forward to meeting you all. So first of all, let's have approval of the agenda.
Motion approved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Do you have any citizens comments, Lisa?
There are no citizens comments.
All right, and so introduction of new employees.
We have no new employees to introduce.
Wow, that's great. I mean, in some respects, that's good. So, yeah, awesome.
We haven't had vacancies. That's very good.
All right,
So everybody here are old timers.
yeah. Okay, so take a look at the minutes for the January 26th, 2023 board meeting. I would entertain a motion to approve.
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Okay, the warrants for January 2023.
So disbursements for the month of January 2023, $3,023,331. Of that, $1.5 million was in accounts payable. We paid $180,222 to Prost. In February, we'll have the very last Prost payment. So that's the next last one. Will be the retained. And then Westport Construction is good. Dining Hall, they had a payment of $97,538. Payroll for the month was $824,046. Payroll taxes on that was $182,631. Financial aid refunds was $39,680, and then utilities was $139,866. That's essentially 2 months since effectively in December, because we're out, we don't get the checks for that month out to January. So that's kind of a double month there. So anyway, disbursements of a little over $20 million for the month of January 2023.
All right. I'll entertain a motion. Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second, I do have a quick question before
Okay.
final payment to Prost, same amount that we've been paying, or will it be a larger amount in February?
It's a large amount. It will be in the 300 something range.
So about double what we've been paying.
What it is if they go through it, 5% of their payments were withheld every payment until it's done. So this will essentially be a 5% payment, which they were about a $6.1 million contract and 5% in the order of 3 years.
Any other questions? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. All right, so now we're ready for institutional reports. Dr. Bain.
All right, Dr. Burgess is going to introduce our first report.
As you know, our institutional reports are trying to educate you a little bit, but also we like to highlight some of our great programs and some of our gyms, and this is definitely one of them. And they have a reputation not only this year, which they're going to talk about, but obviously last year as well. And that's our speech and debate team. And we knew, they were national winners last year, did fantastic again this year. Again, represent State Fair to the highest level. So I'm going to introduce Kayla Todd and allow her to introduce her team and highlight all the great things. And don't let her get away without letting you know about some of her personal recognitions as well as the team, because it takes leadership, obviously, as we all know, to have a fantastic team like this. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Murders. Before I get started too much, I just wanted to ask y'all a question. Do you know how many minutes an average public speaking student spends giving speeches in their public speaking class? Anyone? Again,
Turn 12.
how many?
Turn 12.
A lot lower than that.
Well,
25 is how many, if they speak the maximum, they go the maximum time, they speak 25 minutes throughout the whole semester. Our students on the speech and debate team in one tournament will speak an average of 122 minutes in just that one tournament. And they will get feedback from an average of 20 to 23 coaches from across the region. And then when we go to nationals from across the nation. So that just shows a little bit like contextually in just one weekend, they're getting 5 times the experience that our public speaking students get. And I think that sometimes they don't toot their horn enough for how talented they are. So I am Kayla Todd, as Dr. Murder said. We started the speech and debate team last year, and I'm going to introduce two of the students from our speech and debate team to you. They're going to share a little bit, and then after they share, I'll wrap up with sort of a recap of our successes from this year. So we are going to start with Ty. Ty is tuning in from Lake of the Ozarks because he attends our Lake of the Ozarks campus. And Ty is a freshman from Lake of the Ozarks who is an education major. So Ty, you want to share a little bit about your experience with us?
Sure. So I am actually very new to the team. Debate was something that kind of kept me alive a little bit in high school. And being at the Lake of the Ozarks, I didn't really have exposure to some of the clubs and stuff that was going on in Sedalia. And when I learned about the debate team kind of in the middle of last semester, it was something I really wanted to do. So I've gone to, I think, every tournament that's been held so far this semester. And I have had a really good experience. So something that I thought was very interesting that I thought was really important to talk about is the idea of an accepting community. So being from the lake, some of the different ideas about progressive topics and stuff can be a little bit different. So it's very interesting to have a new experience with a different community and one that's very accepting, very open-minded, and it's so far been very, very nice. It made me a little bit nervous to join college debate, but that just really helped ease my tension. Another experience that I think is very notable for the debate team was the idea of limited prep debate. So from my high school experience in debate, it was always weeks and weeks of preparing cases and then getting ready to showcase them. So I'm used to agonizing and analyzing every last detail. And what I've learned here is that I can actually do different events where one of them I do is IPDA debate, which I have 30 minutes of prep and then about 2 minutes of prep for another event I just started called Impromptu this last weekend. And I was actually very, very terrified to do both those things because I was worried my brain wasn't going to work fast enough and things were just going to be kind of a mess. But I've learned through working with Kayla and working with the different members on my team and lots of different practice that it actually is something I can do good at and that can be very, very helpful. So that's been something very beneficial for me and my experience. And I'd say those are probably the best experiences and the most important things that I've gained from the debate team, which is why I think debate is very, very important for students to encounter if they're interested and to be available.
Thank you, Ty. Ty, I joined us mid-semester, and I don't think Ty is giving himself enough credit here. When you joined the team mid-semester, everybody else already knew how to do all of the things, right? Ty came on in the middle. He has been doing extra practices with me to get caught up. And just in the first two tournaments that he has competed at, he doubled the amount of times that he won from the first to the second tournament. And he was like this far away from breaking at the last tournament, meaning that he would have advanced to semifinals. So incredible job to Ty. The second student I'm going to introduce to talk a little bit about the team is our team president, Joshua Kofal. Josh is a sophomore who is a political science, is that right now? Political science major from Jefferson City. So I'm gonna let Josh talk to you a little bit about his experience and then I'll cap us off.
You know, at first I'm like, I do public speaking every weekend. I'm never nervous. And then I get up here and I'm like, But speech and debate has been something that's not only developed my life from high school, but to develop me in college, really. A fun fact about me before I came to college, I was very quiet, very meek. My parents called me the turtle of the squad. I have 5 brothers and 1 sister, and I was pretty quiet, so I wasn't one of the loudest ones, but obviously that's been changed because of speech and debate, which just shows how to build your confidence, as Ty even talked about. So that we force you into situations you might not be comfortable with, but it helps build your skills in the end. There's a few things I want to talk about, I think, that are really impactful from speech and debate. So we do a lot of different things, as you can see, but one of the things I like the most is just going to see different places. So last weekend we went to Chicago. I never experienced a deep dish Chicago pizza. Great experience, too much tomato, but still really good. But not only that, we walked around Chicago and saw the sights and what it was, not something you don't normally see as a community college student in State Fair and Sedalia, Missouri. So it just goes to show that I've built not only those experiences, but just like seeing what's out there, seeing what it is, getting new experiences. But one of my favorite things I like to do is, in our 7-hour car ride to Chicago, you might think most teams hang out and talk and do homework. No, we don't do that. We talk about debate lectures and we talk about different things that are going on in the world to build our knowledge. And that's one of my favorite things about the tournament, being able to talk about something we all love in the car. Because to be successful in debate and to be knowledgeable, you have to talk and know the topic, which is what those lectures do in that first place. Now, one of the things I like at tournaments overall is that I get to build new friendships with people from different regions. So one of my favorite friends, Anya Wall, which is from Simpson College, we met when she went and competed at Washington University. But it's just that a knowledge of going out there and meeting new people that aren't like same likelihood as you. People still treat you as the same level or even higher just because we're from a community college. It just shows that you can build personalities, build friendships, create connections you probably wouldn't even see in the first place when as a simple community college student. Trying to think of like any other cool experiences I get to talk about. I just love it so much. It's really built every single thing you see me everywhere, and it's built everything that I do because of that. The biggest thing for me overall with speech and debate is that it builds students' confidence and it builds their personality levels, and I think it's an impactful event for every single person. Even now, we see famous people such as our newest Supreme Court member being in speech and debate in high school, and then seeing that she can do and see what she does every single day because of her event. And not only that, one final thing I just want to share is just what we do as a team every single day. As Kayla says, we talk a lot about what we do every single weekend and what events we look at overall. But we spend a lot of time getting ready for this. Don't let Kayla downplay what she does either. Like, she spends a lot of time doing everything for us, and then we're here just to have fun and just compete and talk about what we like to talk about. But as the president, I'm just really happy to say that this team has like not only benefited me, but Ty, Lucas, and several of our other members that aren't here to talk about today. It's helped build their confidence in the classes, but helped build their confidence overall. And even then, it helps build connections to other universities. I'm currently talking to 7 different universities just for scholarship opportunities and simple events such as speech and debate. So it's just important to know that speech and debate is insanely impactful to every single person. That's all.
Right, so you've got to hear from 2 of our students. Our team is a team of 7 right now, but I have really strict travel requirements, and so not all 7 are eligible to travel. We have 3 that have been eligible to travel so far, and hopefully as we continue to grow, we'll have more who meet the eligibility requirements to travel, which is coaching and keeping a specific grade point average and coming to practices and those things. So the results that we've seen so far this year, we've been to 6 tournaments, 6 regional tournaments. Of those, 4 of them offered a top community college award. We won that 3 times, and the one time that we did not win it, we lost by 1/2 of a point. It was so close. Like if someone would have squeezed in around, we maybe would have been the top community college at that tournament. So the students have been putting in a lot of work. The types of events that they're doing are limited preparation. That's kind of what they did today. I gave them the information that they would be sharing yesterday. So limited preparation, both in real life and at competition. They're doing platform speeches that they have written out fully. So they research a topic, they write out a 10-minute speech, and then they memorize that speech word for word, and then they go perform that. They're doing literature interpretation events. So they are taking pieces of literature, they're cutting it down to a 10-minute performance, and they're performing that. And then they're also doing debate events. The final thing that I'm going to share is just a kudos to them. Right now, State Community College has a record this semester of 30 debate wins and 11 losses. That's incredible.
Well, one successful team, but it doesn't happen without a great coach. Rookie of the year, the new coach of the year.
Yes,
Um,
it's the Bob Derryberry New Forensics Educator of the Year.
last year for is it the nation or yeah, for the whole nation? What an honor to have her in decision. Any questions or?
Good question.
Maybe we need to know what time does your class start? What do you-
I was for policy, so any of my class. Stop it.
You're welcome to stick around or you can slip out whatever your comfort is.
I have to go listen to public speaking.
Also, a busy student has two things. So I also have to slip out.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Bye.
You, Ty.
Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Good job. Last fall, we talked about marketing and the importance of marketing and some new techniques in marketing that we were wanting to implement this year. So we're returning with a report on what we did with that after that discussion and some results of that. Brad Henderson, our executive director of marketing communications, is here, and I think I see his team here as well. They have his back, so I'll turn it over to them.
Well, thank you. I was really hoping Josh would stick around and do this for me because I'm college than I am at this point. But I know they're not here, but I do want to emphasize that group right there, that's the best of the best. When you look at a community college level, it's PTK and it's speech and debate. That's the cream that rises to the top. All right. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you tonight on the marketing and communications department here. I wanted to give you a brief overview of the things that we do. Not all of you may be aware of everything we do. So I wanted to cover that before I get into a little bit of analytics as to, or referring to the analytics for spring, I should say, from this past spring campaign enrollment. So I do have my team here with me tonight. If they'll stand when I announce their name. Before I get much further, I will tell you though that I incorporated some of their work on these slides, and with the exception of this one here, if you see a slide anywhere that has art that you recognize from somewhere, if you'll let me know where you recognize that, maybe you've seen it on a billboard somewhere, you've seen it in a newspaper, I do have a prize for you. So I make this as interactive as possible. With us tonight, I do have Sherilyn Nail, who is our writing services manager. We have Carol Landers, who is our design services manager. And I have Marco Cesar, who is our newest addition, who is our digital and social media manager. Sorry, Marco, I tend to move and squirm when I'm presenting, so if I slip in front of you, I apologize. Not with us tonight is Kaylin Newton. She runs the copy center in mailroom. Kaylin had some lame excuse of a family event or something like that. But please rest assured, my vengeance will be swift and furious tomorrow when I deal with her. To date this year, we've done just under 20, or in 2022, I should say, we've done just under 2,200 service tickets. Those are requests that we receive, formal requests that somebody takes out and fills in a form and says they need a service, one of the services I'm about to show you. And we complete that request, and you can see there that in the past 2 years, we've come in just under 2,200 each year. Now that number is a little soft because that does not include the in-person requests that we get all the time or the email requests that we get all the time. And people here in this room will be first to tell you that Mark Haverly is here. Haverly and I both are kind of like those little chatty Catholics with strings in your back. When you pull it, we just say, please put in a ticket. And the reason for that is because of this right here. We do a very high volume of tickets. And we want to be sure that we do it in a timely manner, but also with respect to the other requests on campus, because we get a lot of them.
For that thing right over there, the cover, that was the cover of a brochure. I usually have that in my bag, but I didn't bring the right book. It was a brochure. It was
You.
I did. I didn't know if that was appropriate to say this, but I know I have that.
That is exactly right.
So you can have
That is
it approved.
the cover of SFCC. Sippy cup.
No, awesome.
Sippy cup, that's right.
I love it. Thank you.
So some of the services we do all of the public and media relations here on campus. That includes press releases, ceremonies, events, signings. Sometimes, we have 2+2 ceremonies, with Mizzou or UCM or CNA. We help put those together and we cover those. And a lot of times we'll have ceremonies where we're wanting to get the media here. So we send out a press invitation to all of our media within our 14th County Service Region, sometimes beyond that to try to get them here. In addition to that, we have 3 primary websites: the main college academic website, the DOM, and the athletic website, which is the .com. I was going to catch in on that one. All right.
That's the.
Mary, yeah, Mary.
It says it on there.
The publication.
Marathon, that is right. That is the publication of State Fair Community College alumni and friends. And that is another service that we provide, writing and graphic design. We do all the copywriting that goes into that. We do the editing and proofreading for anything on campus. If you write something and you want to have it proofread or touched up earlier in the work session, Sherilyn got a plug by Darcy or from Darcy for her proofreading skills. And trust me, no one appreciates those skills more than me. She makes my job easy. I just wish I could return the favors as well as she does for me. She gives me things to proofread and I'm not quite as good as her. So we also do, as I mentioned, the marketing materials, the ads, the things like this that you see here in this publication. We also do video and photography. We take pictures of every employee. Once they come to campus, we keep a headshot library of all employees. We also have them of you, so don't get any ideas. We can use that anytime we want, right? We can post that up there on the website. You guys have all your photos here on file as well. We take photos of college events, anytime something's going on, and special occasions. Now, I included this screen grab on this slide because it's one that I'm kind of proud of, because this is a video, a 22-second video for technical programs here at State Fair that we put out last year. And I included here because this is the second highest viewed video on our YouTube channel. And I know it's kind of small and you probably won't be able to see that, but I'll read it for those in the back. This video in 1 year has been seen 722,000 times.
When did you screen grab that?
Just before coming over.
Okay, so as of today.
We also do all of the internal communications, whether that's with students or employees or with outside the community. Many of you don't realize that until you get those little emergency alert systems by Ray, the little text message that says, don't come to campus today. There's been a wild pack of rabid raccoons and escaped from the fair, or whatever the case may be. It could be snow, or more likely. But we send those out too, and we keep you updated as to when the campus is closed. And that's what a lot of students know more than anything is, oh, you guys do the text messages. We also have a lot of social media. We have primary accounts, and then there are departmental accounts here on campus. The social media accounts that you see there listed on the left are the primary accounts with the followers after each of them. We have a pretty solid Facebook account, and I check it and how it competes with other community colleges here in Missouri all the time. We hold our own, and many times throughout the year, it's done on monthly or 4-week intervals. We beat the other community colleges. Quite often we are first. But we have about 12,000 followers there. And the first is based on amount of change post. There's an algorithm that they put out there that determines that. And I share this screen grab with you because this is the highest video that we have on our YouTube account. And that is correct. It is 2.5 million views. This commercial has been seen. So I'm quite proud of that and the work that went into that.
Commercial, it's not a.
It's a 15-second commercial. Mhm. Another service that we provide is our copy center. I mentioned the delinquent Kayla Newton earlier. She is in charge of, she does a fantastic job. All kidding aside, she does a fantastic job. She runs the copy center and the outgoing mail, incoming mail, outgoing mail, copy center, print services, all of that. She takes care of
You're
it.
gonna take my thunder. I was gonna say, that's the
Yes,
legislative
I-
report that we shared with the legislators.
There we go. He tried to double you up, didn't he?
He
I
tried.
tried.
I was giving a hint.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
While you're doing that, we agreed that there are a lot of folks we go with are pretty envious of this document. When we show up with this document, they show up with what they have.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you very much for this document.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the kind words and I am going to put that to the test. I hope it's true. With a submission to NCMPR with that particular document, but I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, so in addition to that, we do have centralized copiers located all around campus in all the buildings and in all of our campuses, regardless of the location. They all have centralized copiers. And we also do advertising in Markham. We do advertising through traditional means, billboards, or analog as sometimes they're called. Billboards, newspapers, yearbooks, high school programs. It could be an athletic program, could be a sporting event. If there's an opportunity for us to advertise in those things and someone reaches out to me and I'm made aware of it, we always do. Rarely do I ever turn down, I turned down one today because the minimum cost was $2,000. And the audience that they were promising me was rather minimal. But 99% of the time, if there's an opportunity to get exposure in those local high schools or in those local communities, I count on it every time. We also do sporting events. So if you've been to any of the area high school football games down around the lake, maybe you've seen our banners, you've seen our ads, the commercial that was earlier, well, radio spots, those are something else that we do. The commercials down at the lake on radio during football season, we always capitalize on those. We also do television, which is why some of those numbers are high on the YouTube, and special events. And we do digital advertising beyond the traditional means. Or the
electronic billboard.
That is correct. Which one?
That's 65.
Yeah.
Um,
And also
Those-
could say Missouri's best city councilman too.
Next slide, right? Yeah. Some of the digital means that we're using for advertising are those digital billboards. Tom is exactly correct. We are present on 3 different digital billboards. We had around 16 and 65. We're on 16th and Limit. And we are in Boonville on a digital sign now. So all 3 of those locations have digital presence. Now, the way those work, I've seen your board on there. You get put into a rotation. And so you have a spot in a rotation, and you can add as many as you want into your spot, but they don't all play at the same time. So once the rotation comes around, it changes to your rotation within their rotation. So that's how the digital billboards work. So we try to keep at least 3 different creative pieces on each digital billboard at all times, and keep those updated fairly regularly. This one's been running for a while on 16 to 65 since last summer. And then there's another one that's similar to this message on 16 and Limit. And then some of the other things that we do digitally is we advertise on social media. Facebook, Instagram. We have done a little bit of Twitter. Twitter's not our strongest platform, so we tend not to invest as much in Twitter. We've dabbled in a little bit of TikTok advertising as well. And that's going to grow maybe depending on what state legislators do. As some of you know, there are trends to curb that a little bit happening right now. So we'll see how that goes.
How big is our geofencing at the moment? Or are there areas outside of our district or service district, service region that you reach?
That is a fantastic question. So with geofencing, we're not necessarily as limited. We go bigger than our 14 county service region. And I'll show you in a second, actually just a few seconds, just how big we go within the state of Missouri. But this is something that I believe it was Richard specifically asked for in the fall. And so I wanted to give you some of the analytics on how that went this spring, and that should be pulling up right here. It doesn't. There we go. So let me make sure. Let me change that. Go back to the beginning of December to make sure that we capture the whole time period. So, Tom, there's the answer to your question. What you're looking at here is the state of Missouri, and you can see pretty clearly where I'll zoom back in a second, where our service region is, right in this area, right in here. But you can see that we've hit Kansas City, Springfield, and St. Louis as well. We can get as specific.
What are those dots?
Let me.
You
That's a
didn't-
good question.
okay.
Yes.
All right.
We can get as specific as we want down to an address, which is what we do here. And I'm going to zoom in on those dots and show you just what they are. Or we can go out a little bit broader and look at the area as a whole. So let me zoom in now. What these dots are and what this area is that you see here when I zoom in, you have the white dots are the geofences that we established. Those are addresses that I put into the system and said, I want to hit these addresses.
Are those addresses, businesses, organizations?
Set me up perfectly. Most of those addresses are high schools.
That's another comment.
Did he pay you for the?
That is another, you get the whole bag. Most of those addresses are high schools. However, not all are high schools. I can tell you that all of you had these ads. I put in your addresses. I specifically targeted each one of your houses. And I can tell you which one of those got hits. So let me pick, I know somebody else down here. Let's go down here to Springfield. Now, there's no coincidence that Springfield has a target right here. And if I hover over that target, that's weird. Whose address is that?
OTC, maybe?
So the white dot represents the address that I put in. The black dot represents a target that was in one of those fences that pulled up a device and pulled up one of our ads as a result of having been in that ad, called a redirect. So we can hit these areas, and what you see are these fences that were established and all of these redirects that were pulling up ads outside of those areas. That's the black dots. And if you look at the overall area, the darker the section, the more spots or the more advertisements were received. So over here in Jeff City, Pettis County or Sedalia, Warrensburg, much darker than the other areas, but that's because we had more ads delivered in there. Up here in Columbia, another one. Those are areas that we had more hits. So we're not necessarily limited to just our areas. In fact, the St. Louis, I forgot the St. Louis one, let me pull over here. I worked with Allison Broche, who is advertising. We were wanting to hit, correct me if I'm wrong, Allison, we were wanting to hit EMTs to second year nursing, right? So we wanted to get an ad to those people. And Allison made it really easy for me to do that because she provided me a list of not only people who had completed the first year of nursing school, which we sent ads to those houses, but also to a conference that happened in St. Louis that was for Missouri EMTs. And that conference happened in August. So what I was able to do was go in and say, I want to send an ad to anybody who was at that conference last August. So if they went to that conference, they opened up their phone and they got on the internet or checked something in their phone connected to that internet, they know about us. They got that ad. So that's how specific we can get.
So
Let me up.
we just admitted that we put a fence around OTC on camera.
Don't think they don't have one around us.
That was my question.
Open your
Are we
Facebook right
able
now.
to tell who has a fence around us or, okay.
I mean,
Just
Are
by
we
their ad.
able to tell that there is a fence around
if
us?
Hal Pigden opened his phone and saw State Fair Community College on his phone, he probably
That would be
knows.
the indicator.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
But digital advertising kind of throws some of those boundaries out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what happens if I'm in this geofence and I go down to Springfield and open my phone as a result of having been here? If I was in St. Louis and at that conference 6 months ago, and I open up my phone, I'm getting the ad as a result of having that, I've been in that IP from that server there. So
If you went to a basketball game at a geofenced high school or a visitor, you'd be getting that ad.
right. So what is it? What do those ads look like? Well, on the websites that are pulled up, there's an example of what they might look like. Let me show you the ad, some of the ads specifically. There's more samples there. Now these files are animated GIFs, so they're not technically video files, but they're made to look like video files, so they load a little bit quicker, and you don't have to wait for somebody to play them. But file size does become an issue whenever you're doing this because you want to make sure that the ads are loading.
Brad, did that one on the left if you're on the Democrat? Yeah, I thought I saw that.
Yes.
I do.
She wants to stop them. Thank you.
Oh, good.
I see the unhelpful.
Yeah. Next one, please.
Then you get one more chance. All right, so how are they getting these ads? That's where I thought you were going, Tom. So Tom, how are they getting?
I wanted to know.
How are they getting these ads? Well, these ads are appearing on their phone in a number of ways. Whether they're pulling up their phone and getting on the internet or opening up a game and playing it, whenever they're making that connection, that's when we have the opportunity to put that ad in front of them. So if you look here, I'm going to sort that by impressions. There's the number one source for us. It looks like Yahoo. We've got some Yahoo users, 50,000 on yahoo.com and 33,000 on Yahoo Mail, 34,000 on Yahoo Mail. But then there's also games. These are games. If any of you would admit to playing games on your phone, right? If you would ever admit to playing games on your phone, you know that some of those games that say they're free aren't really free. It's because of what I just did that isn't really making it free. Yeah, you can buy things within the game and you can play the game for free, but we're putting these ads in there, and that's how those games are making most of their money is from these ads that get run in there. So the more they put in there, the more they're going to come back and charge. Fox News was one. Yes, sir.
Are those random websites that just attract our ads, or are you going and specifically adding in those websites?
No, these are the websites and apps and games that people who were in that fence pulled up, and that's how that ad was delivered, was through that. They pulled up Quizlet.com or went to Quizlet.com. They were able to deliver an ad through that website. How are they delivered? Well, pretty evenly between computer and mobile device, but there's a significant drop with tablets. But mobile and desktops, we're hitting them quite a bit. 185,000 for mobile, slightly edging out desktops. And then performance by city. Let me sort this by impressions. There's the large areas. If you go back up, if I were to scroll up and show you that map again where those darker areas were, Jeff City was the darkest. Columbia, Warrensburg, Sedalia, Marshall, those are all heavily hit with our ads. And there you get the click rates and the impressions or the ads that were delivered. So that's kind of it. I could spend a lot more time going through all of this. with you, but for the sake of hitting some of your 10 o'clock deadlines that you guys are hoping to hit, I'm going to jump back over here for my favorite slide. There we go. And that is my last slide, which is something that I don't typically do, and that is toot my own horn. But with these guys present, I'm going to, because they're the ones that actually deserve all the credit. And that is, this team is among the best in the nation creatively. If you look at what I have there, our league, our competition, the NCMPR, which stands for the National Council for Marketing and Public Relations, consists of 550 community and technical colleges. Everybody loves to think they can coach and market. It's real easy to coach from 3 rows up in the bleachers. It's real easy to look at your phone and say, I could have done it differently. But when you let your work speak for itself against the best in the nation, and you make 6 or 9 submissions of your work nationally, and of those 550 colleges, and you win 6 of them, back to the athletic analogy, that's batting 670. These guys are amazing.
Thank you, Brad. Any questions?
You're working.
What?
He saw that picture on the slide.
Look at it. Thank you.
Brad, the team.
Question, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step away.
Thank you for reminding me that Yahoo still exists.
Words with friends.
I was able to see their new office, and while I know they're not all set up, I
Thank you.
happened to get to see, the wonderful place that you get to work and you're now together. So, how awesome you have to stop in and say hi to them.
When we went to our advocacy meeting, the key is to be able to tell your story. And that was the point they drilled over and over and over, recurring, was telling your story. And marketing and communications helps us tell our story, our storytellers, and really appreciate what happens there to tell our story.
Thank you, Richard. And I didn't close that loop, and I apologize, but you held up the service report. The service report will be submitted to the next NCMPR, and I'll be happy to come back here and show you whatever medal or recognition we win for that great report.
Well, thank you, Brad, and thank you, the rest of the team. We're proud of your work, and it's so important to the college and us meeting our mission, so we appreciate that. If you'll indulge me, as part of the president's report, I was going to report on some facility things. We've had some turnover in our facilities department, and the facility staff has stepped up big time and are performing wonderfully. And I'd like to introduce one of those people who has taken a huge workload and is just making it shine. And that's Ben Burson Sr. And if you're okay with this, I'd like Ben to give us just a high level view of a couple of projects going on. And Keith, maybe you were planning on giving that introduction yourself, so I'm sorry if I stole your thunder. So Keith and Ben, we're going to give a quick report on some facility things. So, but Ben, I wanted to say thank you very much for your work. You're knocking it out of the park.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
We're going to give the world to the bricks and mortar world. So if you would open up right here, I'll open it up. We're going to just Bryn's going to give like a few thoughts on each. These are not slick pictures. These were taken with my iPhone today. So bear with me.
We don't market nerd, well, correct.
No. So we're going to just things that are going on, and I'm going to put up the actual slideshow. Should I share this or? We can hear us talking about it. Okay, oh yeah, on camera. So Ms. Waltham, I brought that up first, so you can come.
Okay, so many of you recognize this building. This is right here. This is our walkway here. We had some concrete that was failing and some sidewalks. Hired a contractor in, come in and replace it. We're gonna be doing this all over campus, probably all spring long. It runs into some coordination issues, making sure we keep sidewalks and stuff open. But we're gonna press on and make sure we get all the sidewalk that's failing replaced.
That was a big issue amongst a number of faculty, staff, students, you all. So we're on it. We got the first job done. And next, let's see. Next, staying inside, now we're going inside. So a number of folks have, moved a number of folks around, and, Brad's one of those that has some new gigs there in his marketing space. So we're doing all this in-house.
We're doing all this in-house, and this is with our maintenance staff. So these guys have really stepped up because they are not trained to do a lot of the stuff that they're doing, and they're learning on the fly, making stuff work. And you can tell by the pictures, their spaces look really good. They get a lot of compliments from the staff that are using these offices. We're real proud of what they're doing.
And we're almost done. These were all taken today, so HR is not quite done yet. When they are, then you will move down.
Next week, maybe.
Yeah. So you feel effective for that.
New corporate's in and HR now.
She's up.
Next.
Okay, so this is the Stoffaker Dining Facility. This has been
That's the
causing
campus
noise.
store.
Yeah, been causing noise for several months now. And we're looking at potentially having this ready to serve food out of after the kids come back from spring break, after students come back from spring break. So we got lucky. We paired with a great contractor with this. They really stepped up and worked through some challenges. But as you can see, it's looking really good.
It's ahead of schedule, right?
Yes, sir. We're about 10 days ahead of schedule as of right now.
Well, that's looking the door of what you would have walked into the campus store. You got a salad bar down the middle and some rooms left, right. What you can't see on the right is the beverage station.
Tour at next meeting.
Potentially.
I saw the post with all the appliances and stuff. You gotta get excited for that stuff.
Then
Okay, so this is the Potter Ewing. We had some humidity issues in this building. So we changed out all 5 of their RTUs, and this picture was taken on Monday. We decided to come in and we scheduled contractors to come in and do this on Monday so that there's no students, no faculty in the building, which is a safety concern with swinging a crane and swinging RTUs over the building. So we had 5 RTUs. They all got changed out. They came back in the next morning, got all the heat back up for everybody with the faculty and the staff and students using the building. And then as of tomorrow, will come back and finish their air balance, and this project will be completely done.
You approved this last fall. The units were back ordered. We had some issues, so they just.
Yes, sir. We got bumped 60 days waiting on 1 RTU.
Wow.
This is the building renovation. So this particularly will be the new HVAC lab. So we're doing the HVAC lab and the robotics lab at the same time. Obviously, it's the same contract, same project. And right there behind that white truck, there were restrooms this morning, and now there is nothing. So RCI is the contractor we're using for this. We're really blessed to be able to have partnered with them in this project because they jumped right in, went to work. And as you can tell, if anybody, you've seen this building 2 weeks ago, it didn't look anything like this. There were offices upstairs. There were equipment scattered all over the welding floor there. So these guys jumped in and have really done a good job. And this is going to be a great project. I'm excited about this.
Another project ahead of schedule, Ben said.
Yes, sir. It's all because of the contractors we partnered with, and we made some good decisions there.
President Hall, you want to say anything?
We're still working on the residence hall. We got a new design back. Our original design was outside of our budget parameters to make it work. So we have a new design that's back. We have our team called together for a meeting to evaluate that to see if something the things we took out are things we're comfortable with taking out of that project. So we're still moving forward on that.
Now,
This is our crown jewel. We've had lots of heated discussions in this very room about this building, but we're getting narrowed down with a schematic design. We're pushing forward with surveys and things of that nature so that we can get the geotech information, get the footprint of this building done. So,
you're working closely with Sepradon now, right?
yes, sir, we're working daily. I have conversations with Dennis daily. And also with the architect, but we're pushing forward, getting this narrowed down to a really tight plan, getting the floor plan laid out. Late summer, we'll start seeing a lot of action in this building.
A week before last, met with all the programmatic people and kind of finalized their request this week. Was it this week? We met with some industry folks in agriculture and automotive, showed them design, got some input. Are those doors high enough? The ceiling high enough? How about those lifts? We got some great input, and our relationship with Septagon's already paying off. I have full confidence in that, and Dennis has worked really well with Ben and the architect. It's been a great team. So we're behind on schedule a little bit on the drawings, maybe 30 to 60 days behind schedule, but we're going to have a really quality project.
This one will be great.
You know, there's probably 10 other random small projects going on this. These are the highlights of what's happening. Ben's managing all of them, so quick update.
Yeah, well, Brad has a pretty cool job. My job's way cooler because I get to show every day. Every day I get to see this stuff change.
Well, you're doing great work, Ben, and I
Thank you,
appreciate
sir.
your work, and wanted to say that in front of the Board of Trustees.
Thank you.
And I say the same thing. You made our place amazing. So thank you very much. And all of the rotation that's happening.
You're welcome. That's the whole team.
Thank you.
In here. We not have a SSCC half the legal work.
I think representing one of our sending schools, a high school that we depend on for very.
My son's senior year of high school. Then I have to do a wardrobe change. Thank you all.
Thanks. He does have a tie in the truck, he said, but.
I don't wear it much, but.
Thank you, Keith, too.
Yeah.
So that includes the institutional reports plus.
Awesome. Good to see those reports. All right, so we're ready for the FY 2024 group health plan.
You ready for the Keith Bacon marathon?
Yes, yes.
Anybody, seriously? anybody
Coffee is available.
Anyone need a break of this water, something to eat, some energy? You got, what is it? Yeah, we're. So
Do what you have to
I
do.
can listen,
Yeah.
Paul.
Seriously, we do have a number of things to cover with you today that are there. Most of them are centered around our students and our faculty and staff. So we'll start with getting ready for the FY 24 year. First up is the FY 24 group health plan. In some of our budget discussions, we've may mention that those prices went up 5.5% this year overall, which is probably a reasonable increase given everything else going on there. So here, well, what you have here in gray is the current plan for a base medical plan. There's a buy-up where you change how many visits you get, and there's a high deductible health savings account plan. For the employee, you see the employee spouse, the employee with children, and then a full family, what the deductibles are, co-pays are, out of pockets here as well. So in that, you see that the base plan for an employee goes from 743 to 784, and HSA will go from 642 to 677. I'm not going to read all of these, you can see them, but you'll see, what each group pays in terms of their, families with children, they can pay anywhere from, $1,300, $1,200, $1,300 on that. So what I recommend the Board of Trustees accept the proposal below for health insurance from the Missouri Education Health Group Consortium. This represents a 5.5% increase to the college from the FY 23 rates. The MEHG is managed service by Sure Parts Locally Missouri and is provided with United Healthcare. It has multiple options from a base plan, a buy-up, and a high deductible health savings account plan.
We entertain a motion to accept as presented.
Second.
Any discussion or question?
Is 743 what we pay for each employee? Is that?
We,
what we pay?
we will pay $743. And then, so if you wanted, if the board wanted to do the buy-up, they would pay the extra 107 there. And if they wanted to do the HSA, it shows there they would get $107 deposit in HSA account, so that every employee is being given a basically 743 amount towards the vote. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Keith, I'm just gonna let you roll.
Yep, the next two are good. This is good too. For dental insurance, that, both the dental insurance is through, United Healthcare as well. As part of the package we get by buying, the dental insurance and vision with them. The dental insurance rates will not rise this year. So it's recommended the Board of Trustees accept a proposal from the Missouri Education Health Group for dental insurance fiscal 24. The plan would be again through United Healthcare, and the rate for each full-time employee is $29.47 per month, which the college pays. And the family rate is $80.88, which the employee would pay. They have, this is no increase from the prior year.
Entertain a motion to accept.
So moved. Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same signs.
Vision insurance is also provided through United Healthcare. That rate is also staying the same this year, so we recommend you accept the proposal from VHG for vision insurance fiscal 24. Proposed plan would have rates of $11.14 for employee coverage, $18.78 per month for employee and spouse, and $19.60 a month for employee, basically family and children, and $30.30 for a full family. Vision plan is paid fully by the employee.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Next is agreement with Rack Jack. Across the street, for housing there. In this case, the increase from last year was a 4.5% increase. Was their increase, we're keeping the same number of beds that we had before. And that increase is going up to 4.5% overall to us. The amount of rooms we have there is roughly equivalent to the number of rooms we will be having with our new residence hall. So it's a very good understanding of the demand for that level of housing. And so it's recommended the Board of Trustees accept lease agreement from Rack Jack Properties for a period of 10 months would commence policy number 2023, then May 31, 2024. That agreement same way as this year, but it's 16 3-bedroom units at a cost of $2116.65 per unit. That's at least that's 4.5% up, allowing for 96 students to be provided rooms. And there's 32 2-bedroom units at $1759.78 per unit, which would accommodate 128 students. That brings the total lease agreement to $901,193.20. And that is inclusive of all utilities, trash, and internet, as well as maintenance, et cetera, for the units. It's also recommended that you, the Vice President of Finance and Administration, be authorized to sign the agreement for Rack Jack Properties.
Entertain a motion. I hear second.
Second.
Any discussion or questions?
On those units, are those, does he purposely keep those units available for us, or is those just if they are?
No, they are designated, actually designated buildings just
Okay.
for us. So I think we
This
have,
contract would guarantee these units be available for all for our students.
and literally the good part is since we're keeping the same ones, they're the exact same rooms we had the past year. So we don't have to move any beds in and out. We don't have to do any of that. It's
And the reason why it's 10 months and not a full year, is that just because
well,
summertime and I mean?
yeah, we're at
back
10.
home, or do
just-
they have the option of staying?
No.
No.
No, okay.
Sorry.
No.
I think that's when he goes and fixes everything that the students do.
Yeah.
Recovery that comes from housing 200 college students.
What?
8 weeks is probably not enough.
All right, any further questions? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Next, let's talk a little bit about the dining service agreement with Great Western. First of all, the prices here are 6.7% up from last year. Given the price of eggs in general, that's probably pretty good, but also this includes, you saw the brand new facility they're doing, they have a much larger array of products available, require more staff, the part of Great Western food service. So they've taken into consideration all of that. So the rates here are 6.7% above what they were last year. If we were at full capacity, which is we're never going to get full capacity, but we would be at that. We have 326 rooms available, every single bed, but every single bed was filled. We have 326. That's not going to happen. But so our top would be 1238, per student per 19 daily rate, 19 meal plan, and 1142 for the 10 meal. We will probably be operating more probably down that 280, 290ish range, in that 90% type capacity, maybe a little more. So rates probably being more in the, around $13 for a 19 meal plan, around $12 for a 10 meal plan. Do that on a daily basis. So with that, recommend the board please accept this renewal option for Great Western Dining. Here, authorize. It's like I've been talking about twice. Authorize me to sign this. This is actually year 2 of a 15-year contract that we have with them. And
More details in the exhibit at the back.
Does that price fluctuate in the year hypothetically if we have a drastic decrease?
I will tell you this, they raised prices 4% last year at the beginning of the year. Obviously, food prices in particular went up a lot higher than 4% last year. They did not change them at mid-semester. They were set. They were set.
How about the per?
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I'm saying. These per diem, the per meal rate is set.
If we go from 270 to 350, will that drop in what we're billed?
Yes, because we will pay that rate. They literally so everybody who signs up for a contract, then we feed that to Great Western, and we know exactly how many students on the dining plan, then that sets this rate, and we get billed monthly at that rate.
And that rate varies monthly or?
Well, it varies monthly based on, but sort of say 10 people were to drop out mid-year, yes, you would go back to the scale, but the scale here wouldn't change mid-year because prices went up. But like last year, prices went up pretty dramatically during the year, and they stayed with this scale.
Right.
But yeah, it varies based on how much it's approved, but for it as well. Also, on the next page, I should make notice of it. I'm sorry, it's the next page. There are also rates in here for Upward Bound. These are up a bit from last year. Upward Bound gets some discounted pricing, and it's somewhat dictated by the Upward Bound program. The 10 meal punch card, the casual meal rate is what went up a fair amount. The casual meal rate, the punch card last year was at $56. They took that up to $70 or $7 a meal basically for that. The casual meal rates are higher just because they can't predict how many of those are going to have in a given day. It's still relative probably to what they could get up and about in the community if they're probably a deal with that. So you are improving these particular rates as well. I forgot to see that on the last page.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Wait, more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those same sign.
So the next page is really the room and board rates to the students. In these, it's a combination of both the roommate plus the board rate, get the total rate for a semester. So for instance, we're recommending the residence hall, a $1,600 room rate per semester. The board rate for 19 bills being $1,850. A 3-bedroom apartment, the room rate being $2,225 a semester. And then a 10 meal plan being 1,700 a semester and the 19 meal plan 1,850. And I'm sorry, that's a 3-bedroom, and then a 2-bedroom apartment, 2,800 per semester. They want to do single rooms, it's just double. The consulting group we work with on looking at residence hall rates for building, they had recommended this market could bear for a basically a 2-bedroom, 4-bed unit, and that would bear $3,115. So we're still in that, we're getting closer to that level. And again, this is probably more in line with market rates. So this would be the board rates per semester for this year.
So that number, and they said it would bear what?
3,115 per semester.
For a 2-bed?
For what's basically a two-bedroom unit with obviously 4 beds, which is essentially what this 2-bedroom apartment is. I mean, it's essentially a comparable situation. And they came back, they said that a fair market level price would be 3,001.
I'll entertain a motion to accept.
So moved.
For your second,
Second.
any more discussion or questions you have? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Next is FY24 tuition and fee rates. Recommend the Board of Trustees approve the following tuition and technology fee rates for the 2023 and 2024 academic year. The in-district resident, a rate of $126 per credit hour. A Missouri resident, $191 per credit hour. A non-Missouri resident, $257 per credit hour. A dual credit student, $79 per credit hour. If you're taking a tier 1 program, the incremental tuition of $25. A tier 2 tuition increment of $70. A tier 3 program tuition increment of $115. A tier 4 tuition increment of $225, and technology fee of $45 per credit hour. It's recommended these tuition rates be effective for the fall of 2023 semester and the summer 2024 semester.
Is there a second? And just know we had our work session today. Appreciate you sharing, these increases and how that would look for our budget and the needs that we have. So thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Along with that, the Missouri Health Professional Consortium of community colleges that take on the shared tasks of certain programs. One is occupational therapy, of which we are the fiscal agent for that. So we actually collect the funds, and the other one is another college is the fiscal agent. And the consortium sets these rates, and I guess we're bound to our job to it. So what they will be, the Missouri Health Professional Consortium has set the chargeback rates for the OTA program. Basically, the rates that they will charge back to us at $211 per credit hour. Based on recommendations by the MHPC, the fiscal agent, State Fair Community College, collects the tuition and fees for the OTA program. We calculate it as a chargeback fee times a 28% upcharge, resulting in a tuition rate of $270 per credit hour. It's recommended Board of Trustees approve the tuition rate for OTA program shown above. These will also be effective from fall 2023 to summer 2024. So $270 for the OTA program.
Entertain a motion.
Second.
I do have a question. The OTA program, would that be a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 type program?
So that amount falls between tier 3 and tier 4 of our tuition. So it's not the same because it's a consortium. So, there's 5 colleges involved, but it falls between.
I guess my question is hypothetically, if
Hypothetically.
we had a standalone program, this would be a tier 3 or a tier.
Yeah, it's right between tier 3 and 4.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I got it.
Oh,
I'm
wait a
ready
minute.
for it.
All in favor, say aye.
I,
All opposed, same sign.
Next one we need to approve is the medical laboratory technician program, which is also a continuous program. The Missouri Health Professional Association has set the chargeback fee for the MLT program for 2023-2024 to 16.84 per credit hour. And then based on recommendations by MHPC, the fiscal agent, which is Moberly Area Community College for this program, collects the tuition and fees for MLT, calculates the chargeback fee times 20% upcharge times the nearest dollar, which results in a tuition rate of $334 per credit hour for this program. It's recommended the Board of Trustees approve the tuition for the MLT program shown above. These tuition fees will be effective in the fall of 2023 semester through summer 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions for Keith? Or Allison?
Here for.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
that does help since the number is to recognize that if we were sponsoring the program alone, that we would have this would be a higher tier program.
So, Mike, would you want to talk a little about next one, which is the semi-truck tractors and trailers? And kind of the situation we're up against, which is why we're asking for kind of a pre-approval on some things. No, let you do this, thank you. No,
Have been identified to receive 2 grants. One's the I-44 corridor grant, and then the other was the open grant for equipment, commercial driving academy. However, we're waiting on contracts on both those grants, so we don't want to get any funds until we get those contracts and get approved. So we are looking forward to when we have that authority, have those funds available. These trucks, if they're a good truck, they go. So we'd be seeking some pre-authorization to go ahead and purchase trucks once those contracts are in and once we're assured of getting the funds.
yeah, so what we're recommending to you is the Board of Trustees approve the purchase of 2 semi-tractor trucks for truck conversion at a price not to exceed $161,000 per truck. It's also recommended the Board of Trustees approve the purchase of 2 trailers for the trucks at a price not to exceed of $25,000 each. We're making this request due to the current scarcity and volatility of the semi-truck market and the inability to have bidders hold trucks for up to 30 days. This pricing also is in line with the budget that was presented for the ARPA Workforce Training Grant. That's what we told them we would be doing. And these trucks may not be purchased as grant funds are available. In addition to that, prior to purchase, the purchase must be approved by either the president or the vice president for academic and student success. Funding is ARPA Workforce Training Grant.
So moved.
So here's,
Sorry.
any questions?
Oh, no. I do have a question. Mike, what is the actual time you're looking at as far as this grant being signed off?
We hope by the end of March, we have those
So
contracts.
it's soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we've got some trucks scoped out, but in the past, they've gone, rather quickly. So this really helps us out.
And I'm gonna ask another question. The semis that we have, is there going to be a need for sleeper trucks to be trained on or just the cab trucks?
Typically, we get the sleepers and modify them. It takes about $2,500 to modify them, so they hold the 3 students and the instructor.
So it's multi, okay.
Yeah. That's typically what we do. We've done.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
You asked my question, you're good.
All right. All right, any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Next up is CAT Building Civil Engineering Services. This will be one of our real first steps in starting to get this particular facility really going. So it's recommended the Board of Trustees accept the single source bids pursuant to SFCC policy and regulation 7120, which allows us to get single source bids for engineering survey, engineering and civil services. From engineering surveys and services of Sedalia Mo, the total amount of $89,700. The CAT billing topographical and utility survey, which is $29,000 of that. Geotechnical evaluations, which is $23,500 of that. And the civil site design, $37,200 of that. The topographical and geotechnical studies will also include the sites designated for future residence hall and future athletic fields. So we're going to get those all built into this. If approved, it's recommended the Vice President of Finance and Administration be authorized to sign agreements with engineering surveys and services. Funding will be the CAP facility design and construction budget.
Motion to approve.
Your second?
Second.
Any questions?
How many bids did we bid this process out then?
This one, we did not. Our actual policy states that for both architectural and engineering surveys, we can go with basically a trusted source. It's essentially how it's written. You refer to as policy 7120.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
The next two are putting the final touches on the OIC building, and this is security and access systems. Which has been, we've been going back and forth on getting the right things here. This has all been part of the budget for a long time now. But it's recommended the Board of Trustees accept the bid from Night Watch Security and Telephone of Sedalia, Missouri, for the total amount of $39,227.40. The OIC security and surveillance camera system. You've got in your packet, you have a thing showing where all the camera they go, what we're surveying, surveilling, and all of that. This is part one of two of the contracted security equipment and servers from Night Watch to complete the OIC security system. The funding is the OIC construction funds.
Motion to approve.
For your second?
Second.
Any questions or discussion?
Yeah, real quick on the bid,
Yes.
it talks about installing cable at 7360, but then it says optional. They do not install the network cable and it's up 8160
I believe they're going to install it.
for
That
that
should be
same
included.
price of the 39,227.
Yeah, I think they've got where they're going to install that. I'll confirm with Mark.
Okay, the numbers just didn't add up to match.
Well, what's in here, then we must be pulling the cables, which we may have already done.
I would just, because this is installing cable 7360, deduct 8160, but yet we're still paying for the installation of the cable. I would just like some clarification on that if I could.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good catch. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
We'll follow up next one.
Thank you.
The second bid is, the second half of that is the security access system. Which goes hand in hand with it. It's recommended the Board of Trustees accept the bid from Night Watch Security and Telephone and Sedalia Mo. The amount of $35,475 for the OIC connectivity and access control from exterior and interior doors of the OIC. This is part two of the contract security from Night Watch to complete the OIC security system. But it is in the full construction plan. This is where there'll be hard access and pass to the exterior and interior doors.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Any other questions for Keith? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Oh, wow, Keith. Yeah, you did that.
Taking the-
Yeah, you did an awesome job.
Verify that amount too, because it doesn't match what's in that thing too.
I will get that.
Yeah,
I was gonna text Mark, but
yeah. Thank you.
all right, so we started a process in the summer discussing our vision for the college and noticed that, we have an absence of having a vision as part of our mission and values. And so we went through a process to get input from the college community on vision from the college. I believe we made a presentation to the board of trustees about it. I believe some of you even provided some input through that process. What happened there, Lisa? There, all right. So we received 192 responses in the input process. And so this is a document that just kind of analyzed those responses. Darcy McNeil helped shepherd this process, did some word studies, and these were of the statements that we gave, these were the words that were most important to people as building that vision statement. And then we asked the question, just regarding those words, what are other words that you think are important? And so we did a word cloud of that. You can see some people didn't follow the directions, they use the same words, but you can see that, those are some of the words. So we had a team that took that data and crafted a vision statement that we're proposing today. And that statement, which you have in your board agenda, State Fair Community College will be the community's preferred choice, where students, faculty, and staff realize their confidence, passion, skills, and potential. So this graphic just shows how that input shows up in this vision statement, those important words from that word cloud show up in the vision statement. So this process has included the executive leadership team, the college council. We've given opportunity for faculty and staff and students and community members all to provide input in the process. So we're here with this recommendation today. Any comments? Or
I like how you arrived at that. You know, that was interesting to see, you know, the words that were, how many times they were said and mentioned. Interesting. All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept the vision statement as you see presented.
So moved. Second.
Right, any other comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Pose same sign.
all right. The under 8 o'clock's looking pretty good, but I do have a long report. So first of all, you'll notice a little bit different format for our board agendas, thanks to Lisa. So we're going to put those agendas in the notebooks. We intend to keep the notebooks. If you want to take the insides of it, you can take it home with you, or we'll throw it away for you here, recycle that paper. If you prefer not to receive a hard copy of the agenda, you're using a computer, just let Lisa know. We won't make a hard copy of it.
If
We'll
it
just
saves
send
you
it.
time, everything, I can do everything on here.
So anyway, we'll try this out. We're always trying new things, but that's the protocol as established by Lisa. We have talked about, oh, did you have some?
I can clarify the second bid,
Okay.
if you like. So that price is the 34,169.97. You can see there on the second page of the quote. Those at the very bottom, they actually say there's actually a software subscription of $14.84.78 per year.
Oh,
That first year is added to that 34,169.97, which comes to the 35,654.75 quote exactly. I'm still working on the first one.
So we're choosing to pay that yearly.
Yes.
Versus that
It will
monthly
be added
cost.
into this first payment.
Got it. Thank you.
Input from the board wants to be, you all want to be, have the opportunity, some of you, to participate in legislative advocacy. So we've scheduled a couple of trips in March. Jolynn Turley we had a wonderful meeting with all the legislative assistants for all of the legislators in our service region, establishing a relationship with them. So Jolynn queried that group about the best time for us to come and visit. And we were looking for maybe a date in March and a date in April. Their suggestion was, let's do it in March after spring break for them. It's pretty crazy time. It's just difficult to get that scheduled. We'll work on that later, but we're planning 2 dates in March, March 8th, leaving at approximately 11 o'clock and returning at 5 or 5:30. And March 9th, leaving at 7 and returning at 3:30 to 4. So I'm saying that to you now. In my report to you on Friday, I'll include more details on this. And then you can respond if you want to attend, and we'll make arrangements for travel and things like that.
March 8th, and what was the other one?
March 8th and March 9th. And during these 2 days, we will have appointments with every one of the legislators within our service region. With the exception of 2 have conflicts, and Jolynn's working on those 2 to see if we can strong arm and meet with us. I had a meeting with Dr. Murders and Alison Brush and the ambulance district today. And they are interested in building a facility on the western edge of their region, and interested in partnering with State Fair Community College in some fashion with that facility. We explored opportunities to combine that facility with an educational training facility in starting a paramedic program. So they would build a facility, we would provide a paramedic program in that facility, and be a partnership. We looked at potential for locating that on this campus. That conversation, we first talked about a site on Clarendon, but that site would not meet their requirements. So if they were going to locate on campus, it would probably need to be on a site like the Lamb House or somewhere in there. So, or if they could have a site on our farm property. So we are going to propose to their board a collaborative relationship on a paramedic program. Doesn't matter on where that site goes, but I'm just letting you know of some interest in those sites, and we'll have discussion later about, what the board's preferences are on that. So you have the facilities updates. There is a list of activities in the calendar at the back of the agenda. Immediately before the first attachment, I want to call your attention to a couple. Homecoming is this week. We've had wonderful activities as part of homecoming that culminates in the homecoming basketball game Saturday. Call your attention to the dinner for retirees and the Board of Trustees at 5 p.m. that night. And we've received RSVPs from Amy, Tom, and Richard. So if anybody else would like to attend that dinner at 5, immediately prior to the women's basketball game, please let Lisa know about that on as soon as you can, tomorrow if possible.
What's the attire?
Basketball fan.
Got it.
State Fair Community College apparel. On March 7th, we have a professional development day. This is an annual day that's set aside on our calendar. This year, we're doing something different. For the first half day, at least, we're doing community service. Can you call that up, Lisa? Community service projects on that day. So our entire full-time college community will be engaged in community projects in the community. And we just buzz through those projects. We're doing some volunteering at the Sedalia Center, and you can see the faculty and staff that have volunteered there. We're volunteering at Retrieving Freedom. And so cleaning kennels, yards, walking dogs, playing with dogs. And the Sedalia Animal Shelter, we're volunteering at the Open Door. There's a group volunteering at the Open Door and at the Open Door Thrift Store. Show Me Christian Youth Home, we're volunteering at their facility at Lamont. We have some teams picking up trash on the highway. We're volunteering at Sedalia 200. I'm not sure what we're doing in school districts. Reading.
to children.
Part of America Redistribution with Jack Mingus. Head Start, did I skip one? Head Start, Warrensburg Head Start, Knob Noster Head Start, Marshall Head Start, Hubbard Park Head Start, Buckner Head Start, Lost Springs Farm, Sedalia Parks and Recreation, Clinton, the Foster Closet in Clinton, the Helping Neighbors Food Pantry at Enville, and Share the Harvest Food Pantry at Lake of the Ozarks, and at the Professional Development Building at Wyman Air Force Base. So you can see that I just wanted to give you a glimpse of kind of the broad activities that we have, and we have staff signed up for each of those areas, and they'll be wearing Skip Fair apparel, and we'll be posting things on social media, and it'll be a nice way for us to get back to our community that's giving so much to us. I also remind you, Farm Fest Benefit Gala, March 25th, and we're taking RSVPs. I heard some of you talking to Mary about that earlier. And finally, it's not on this agenda, but I'd like you to get this on your calendar. The Employee Recognition and Retirement event has been set for June 8th. And we'll send details later, but it's in the evening of the 8th, I think at 5:30. That's the retirement event. We'll be recognizing the board emeritus and other important employees at the college. So that, I believe, oh, one other thing. On March 4th, in the morning, you're evaluating me. In the evening, there's a gala in Clinton for the Golden Valley Memorial Hospital Foundation. And that's an event we participate in. We have 4 tickets to that event, so it could be 2 couples. And it's a nice evening. It's like our gala. In fact, they came and participated in our gala to learn how to do a gala. So they're an important partner for us, and it's a in Clinton. So I'll be going. Dr. Murders will be going. If
He keeps calling me as +1.
so, you had to say that in front of everybody.
On the record.
If you're interested, let me know afterwards or tomorrow. We need to turn in, and we need to know if you want beef, chicken, or vegetarian if you want to go. So we have to turn this in tomorrow. So it'd be a nice event if you'd like to go. That's my report.
Okay, thank you, Dr. So Keith, looks like you can give us a financial report now.
Have clarification on item number 19 on that. So what you have there, the number in the 19 is correct, 39,227.40. I'll explain what it is. So that was their number if they're doing the install. We usually have them install. The 8160 that you see behind that, they would take that out because not only is it the cost of their install, there's some parts in there they would not have. They're saying that if you wanted someone else to do it in, we'll take 8160 off of that. This is not, it's that plus some parts, but you have to hire somebody to do it. We have chosen to accept their bid that includes installation of the 39,227.40. And I was correct on the other of the two added together for 35,654.75. So both those numbers are correct. That is the amount that we were requesting you approve.
Thank you.
Both cases. Thanks for asking. So. Financial report for the month of January. Actually, from my perspective, I am very pleased with this report. We're on target where I thought we'd be. Typically through the spring semester, I like to see our tuition and fees be about 90% of the total we're going to realize. That's pretty much right on that. Everything else looks in line. I look particularly at the bottom line of what our revenues or expenditures are right now, which is a little over 7.2 million. And I compare that to the prior 2 years, which leads me to believe that even though we've had a fairly significant increase in expenses, a lot of that in our instruction, which we would like it to be, we are actually really maintaining our expenses, in line with where they need to be to keep us from an overall financial standpoint, what is to be. So that's really, if I look at a number there, that's more, I'm looking at that stands out to me is the 7,245 compared to the prior 2 years, particularly in FY21, when you don't recall, this place was shut down. I mean, we were incurring no expense. I mean, it was bare bones, and on a net basis, we're what tells me is overall the folks are managing their budget well, even though, and I said in operations maintenance and plant, we're probably higher than I expected, but that's a lot of that's because of the work you see we're doing around moving folks and all of that. So even with doing that, maintaining. So I guess I find nothing particularly spectacular or remarkable medical term about this. But I'm glad to see where it is, where I want it to be. Any questions on the issue?
All right, thank you so much, Keith. We appreciate you. All right, so board discussions, always glad those opportunities where we as board of trustees can, get some insight into, in particular, this one was the legislative summit that was in DC. So we did have 3 of you go. So share with us what you either you learned or was the highlight or.
I believe Tom is.
Yeah,
Okay.
Couple things down. Yeah, we spent February 8th through the 10th. They're up in DC where we had the opportunity to dive deeper into some of the priorities for ACCT as well as speak to our legislators about some of those priorities. Richard was our advanced team, as we titled him. So he was able to get there a day early and really get flooded with information on how the conference was going to be laid out, and also get informed of the best practices on how to speak with our legislators. So that was a big help. And he actually has a great sense of taste with food, and we ate an amazing Georgian restaurant that first night. Fantastic food. That second day was filled with more of our sessions and getting informed better on what those priorities are and the mindset of what ACCT has for that year. We had the opportunity to listen to the Secretary of Agriculture, Tom Vilsack. He spoke generally about green energy and about that green industry of where he sees the agricultural community heading. And we also heard from the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, and he really hit on what he perceives transportation may look like in the next 5 to 10 years. And he really spoke on how fluid that's actually going to be. And he brought up an analogy of 10 years ago, they were speaking on self-driving cars. Well, now we're just hitting that precipice of working with self-driving cars. So he also keyed up that, the most influential part of technology was the 5 inches right here of the cell phone, of that's what is getting people around nowadays. After we listened to, there were a couple other key speakers as well, but after that, we broke into some of our priority sessions, and I think there were 5 of us, and we each 5 took one. I think that's what it is. I don't know if we doubled up on that, but I attended the supporting student wellness, and that was really about dealing with and how to recognize mental health issues and the mental health of students and staff. And then there was a priority session of looking ahead, and that was perspectives from higher education and the workforce beat, which was attended by Amy. Another session was advancing educational equity and opportunity for all, which was attended by, do you remember who did that one? I'm not too sure, I can't remember. And then addressing affordability and retention, so another session. After that, we were able to take a little bit of a break. Richard decided he wanted to take a nap, so he attended the Title IX session. And that was really the opportunity, I think, that was an opportunity came to where Amy, Dr. Bates, and myself really had an opportunity, obviously, to do a little bit of touring, but there was great bonding and communication in that, and we were able to really get to know one another better in those couple of hours we had free time before our dinner and everything. The second day was actually the very busy day, and we definitely got our steps in because that was the day on the Hill. And we had meetings with the staff of Senator Holly, the staff with Senator Schmidt. We met with Congressman Luetkemeyer, and we met with the staff of Congressman Alford, and we actually got to meet briefly with Congressman Alford out there in the hall. So we really get the opportunity to really talk about our priorities, and that's exactly what we went over. We went over the priorities in our last board meeting, but however, with our legislators, we're really honed in what we felt were just the 2 priority main issues, and that was short-term Pell Grant and workforce development in the agricultural section. So we were fortunate enough that though we were not able to attend these meetings with just FFCC representatives, we were joined with other community college representatives that we share the same district, and we all did share the same concerns and goals to better community colleges in Missouri. So, but I will say, in these meetings, I may be a little biased. It was clear that State Fair Community College was probably the most prepared and the most charismatic in every one of these meetings. Not only and thanks to Brad and your staff, we were able to leave behind valuable information that we created in that booklet to talk highly on Richard and Amy. Richard was able to clearly identify issues that faced rural communities. He was able to spurt off statistics and facts on the flip of a dime. It was absolutely amazing. And Amy has the ability to foster and bolster relationships with every staff member and legislator that we met, but not just that. Anybody we ran into the hall, she was able to just create a connection with everybody. And it was absolutely amazing that we had those 2 there to build those connections with our legislators. I would say though that the key takeaways from this conference are a few of them. One is get our legislators here in a room with other community college. Fighting to get their word in on an issue was not enough. With every meeting, I think we shared time with 5 other districts. So we all try to take a second to get our word in, but I think the key takeaway was get our legislators here, get hands-on. Follow-up will be key in getting those priorities passed through Congress. And that's where Jolynn will come into play, and that's where getting them here will come into play. And then finally, I would say is recognize and utilize the relationships that we created there on the Hill. I think a key person that we ran into that we were all amazed and happy to see was Ryan Bardot.
If you recall, Ryan Berto was Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler's field rep, and we had absolutely no clue that he was a part of Senator Schmidt's team. So as soon as that door opened and he stepped in the doorway, the five of us went crazy, and it scared everybody else in the hallway that we had a friend there on the Hill. So using those relationships that Amy was able to cultivate that we already have there is definitely going to be another key thing to make sure State Fair Community College stays in the spotlight with those legislators. So overall, I feel a fantastic legislative conference. And next time I will be sure not to carry the pocket knife with me.
You don't.
Don't do that yet. That's right.
We have anything else you want to share? Either one of you?
I did enjoy connecting with people from colleges, not only in Missouri, but also around the nation. You know, we had that, and I think we were all new to this. So to sort of, you know, I think we had a good first outing, I would say. And so then now we've been there, done that. And so, you know, it's exciting to think about next year as well, and possibilities, and then the things we can do even, you know, till then. So, you know, as you and I talked about, we can spend money, better have good reason and a good report. So we try to be wise and use it and advance the interests of the college. So.
Richard?
You know, we have the relationships with the local legislators. You know, we talk to them directly. It highlighted the important being Washington. It highlighted the importance of having staff connections because staff puts you forward to the legislator, and you need to have a staff connection in every office to be heard. That was clear. It was also clear. It became apparent that prioritizing your message was very important. I did the advocacy workshop. Got really good. This is the best of the ACCT publications that I've seen on advocacy and strategies, but it's prioritizing and being clear and concise in what you want to say. And we did tell the office staff that when they come to visit the state fair, they can come over here and drive a truck simulator. Are they did well? We said that we'll give you a hands-on. I think there was concern about how students are getting placed in job and workforce opportunities. Our collaborative lab would have answered a lot of questions if we could get somebody here if they visit our collaborative lab, they could see how community colleges are addressing that. Another takeaway, Secretary Vilsack said that USDA is in desperate need of employees, that they have an aging workforce and that they need skilled, trained people. And then a lot of the things they have are technical type placements they needed. I think he's said that they are looking to replace 2/3 of the work staff. And they're in the broadest base of the federal agencies. So that was a takeaway, which we then used to suggest why community colleges should receive a workforce in agricultural technology. But I think that's something we need to keep in mind.
Well, thank you for sharing. Not only know Mark Alford is going to be up at the Chiefs parade, but I told him to make a trip down today before he went back to DC. But you know he was going to be there. So yeah, so we look forward to those legislators being on our campus.
I'll also say thank you to Dr. Bates for putting up with every TSA check and every,
Carried
No,
all the luggage.
all the luggage. He was, got the I mean, he's fantastic.
Waving
Thank
down
you.
taxis.
Yes, sir.
That evaluation coming up.
Right, so we have on the list other conferences. Anybody else that you anything to report on any other future ones you know of?
Just point out the ACCT fall conference is in Las Vegas and so,
October probably.
and
October 9th, I believe.
so be thinking about that.
October 9th through October 12th.
It'd be a little less expensive to travel to Las Vegas.
Anything else for board discussion?
I think I saw recently that 2 of our people with State Fair Community College were put on as a board member. Trustee for the hospital. The murders being one. And Jolene was the other one. Yeah.
Right, thank you. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you for doing that.
And Patty was selected to the National Beef Checkoff
Yeah, check out Beef Board.
Board, which is a big deal, folks. That's a big deal.
Sworn
for
in
her
by
to be-
Bill Sack.
Yeah. Right.
Well, thank you. I look forward to that opportunity.
You might probably after you swear him in, invite him to campus.
I will do that. You better believe I will.
Ask about those workforce funds.
That's right.
There you go.
Okay, so looking on your agenda there, you see that we do have a retreat in March scheduled for Saturday, March the 4th. We'll begin at 8:30 right here in the boardroom. We will be going into executive session because the purpose is to evaluate the performance of Dr. Bates as our State Fair Community College president.
That'll be the sole agenda item.
That is correct. Yeah. So I think I heard maybe a little breakfast. Is that right, Lisa? So there will be something before we begin. And so, and then the next meeting will be March the 30th, which of course is a Thursday at 5:30 right here. And will be a work session at 4. Anything to add?
I will have to attend that one virtually. I will be out of state on the 30th.
On the 30th, okay. All righty, so we are now, well, before we do this, we just want to thank all of you for sticking with us for this meeting. It was lengthy, but very informative, and so we couldn't have left anything out and appreciate your time. So thank you. I am going to entertain a motion to go into closed session for hiring, firing, discipline, and promotion of personnel pursuant to RSMO section 610.0213. So moved.
Second.
Justin,
Amy and Tom.
Amy and Tom.
No call.
Amy? Yes. Justin?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
And
Thank you guys so much.
We're staying here, Patty.
Yeah, we're staying here and
Dr. Murders and Keith.
I would like to request Keith and Dr. Murders to stay.